You're listening to Curl Talk Unfiltered.
with Tally and Cass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back, you guys. Actually, long time no see or hear from, so sorry about that. A little bit of an explanation. Well, let me explain where I'm at now for my visual people. I'm at my apartment complex. It's sunny and 75 in Dallas today, so I am in like a shared outdoor space. And I'm loving it. It's beautiful. I'm under a shaded tree. I'm in a comfy chair. Only downside is there are people blowing leaves. There's people blowing leaves every single day. It's killer on my allergies, but I have a little mic and headphones. So hopefully you can't hear it. I have tested it and I don't think you can hear it. So yay for that. A little bit of an explanation about where we've been without like drowning on it too long and why I'm alone by myself today. It is not that me and Talia have broken up, because we haven't. We're still very much great friends. It's just that it's a really busy and hectic season of life for both of us. And right now, before Talia's wedding, she's spending a lot of time planning. She's planning also her honeymoon. She just has a lot of personal life things going on. And as soon as possible, we will be back together. Until then, you guys get to hang out with me. And today I want to talk about something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and something that's always been in the back of my mind for my entire career. It is legacy. What legacy am I leaving behind as a hairstylist, as a beauty provider, as a business owner? And if that's something that you've never really thought about, I totally understand that. For me, I think I've always had a little bit of in the back of my mind, like wondering, what is this all for? Like, I would say I'm a very big picture person. I don't really think about like what's happening next Wednesday, but I think about like in 10 years, what do I want my life to look like? And am I doing the things I need to be doing now to get my life to be looking like that one day? So my friends know this about me, where I'm like, wait, what are we doing next Saturday? And they're like, are you kidding? You know, like, they're like, girl, we've been talking about this. And I'm like, oh no, I know we're doing that thing. But that's like, I'll know next Friday. I'll be thinking about what I'm doing the next day, if that makes sense. I don't know if anyone else is like that. Or also because I feel like as a hairstylist, I work in like 15 to 45 minute increments. Like for 15 minutes, I can be cutting. Or like for 45 minutes, I can be styling. This needs to be done in 45 minutes. So I don't really, even like during the day at the salon, I never really know, like, is it 2 p.m. or is it 6 p.m.? I don't know. But I know if it's like 6:15 or 30 or 45, because I'm like, I have an hour and a half to get my next girl in and out the door. I think for me, especially as like a 27-year-old woman with no children, no husband, sometimes like whenever people think of legacy, they think children and what you're leaving behind as far as like your lineage and your family line and things like that. For me, I think one day I'm going to look back when I'm retired, maybe when I'm on my deathbed or something. I'm going to look back on my life and think to all the people that I've worked with. Like at this point, I'm over 8 years in the industry. I've seen thousands of clients. And no matter if I cut their hair one time or I cut their hair for years, we truly do make an impact on every single person that we come in contact with. And I think that you make a huge impact on people that you really don't even realize. When I moved states, moved from Missouri to Texas, quite a few of my longtime clients gave me cards and letters. And there was one that I still have saved in my room. I think I'll keep it forever. It was from a young lady who was in high school at the time of me starting cutting her hair. I also cut her mom and her grandma's hair. And she was a little bit of like a shyer person, but she was really talented in sports. But she was really outgoing with me. It was just like in school, she was more of like a stay home, not really go out and party type of vibe. And she wrote me a really wonderful letter on loose leaf lined paper, just about how me moving from our rural area to the big city or to wherever I wanted to go was inspiring to her. And that me doing her hair made her feel really confident and really beautiful, and that she was thankful for that. And that was just another reassurance that the work that we do on a daily basis is super special and super important. and we make a bigger difference and impact on people than we think. Which brings me also to talking about just like being the type of hairstylist that you would want to have. I was messaging back and forth with a podcast listener about this week, and she was talking about a redo situation that she had been dealing with, that she had taken a model service and it didn't turn out exactly how she had wanted it to go. And because of that, she had offered a couple of adjustments. The client was really sweet and kind, but just kind of kept doing the wrong thing at home, like using clarifying shampoo like right after she left the appointment and then wondering why her toner wasn't staying. And the podcast listener was just talking about all the different things that she'd learned from the experience of being with that client. What she ultimately ended up doing was just giving a partial refund and parting ways. The client wanted to part ways really amicably, but also requested a partial refund. And so the stylist gave it to her. And immediately in the Friends Only story that I was watching, she was like, I know what a lot of you are thinking. I shouldn't have given her a refund, but this is all, and just like justifying why she gave this client a refund. And so I messaged her like, I would have done the exact same thing. Like, if you feel odd about it at all, I would have done the exact same thing. And I think right now we're in an era of this industry where hairstylists are pressured into being really tough and strict with their clients, which I totally respect and understand. I am not super tough and strict with my clients though, and I really don't. I'm at a point in my life where I don't feel like I have to justify that, but I do want to talk a little bit about why I am that way and why I have chosen to be a little bit more grace giving to my clients as a hairstylist in 2026. For example, this past Saturday, I had a 6 client lineup. So I had 6 curly cuts on Saturday, which is kind of impressive because on Saturdays I only work an 8-hour day. But there was several returning clients. A couple of them I knew I get their haircut usually in about an hour because I've been cutting it for a few years now. And I know their hair. I know how long it takes. So it ended up that 2 of my clients were unable to make it and told me either an hour before their appointment time or 15 minutes after their appointment time. And I did not charge either of those clients the after 24-hour cancellation or no-show fee. Reason being, my first client who was unable to come, I tried to call her and actually her phone number was disabled. Which, if, like, you just know as a hairstylist, like, whenever someone's no-showing you and you try to call them and the number is disconnected, you're like, oh, great. Let me also preface, the day before I had a real no-show, like, a real person who didn't answer my phone call, didn't answer my text, and then I went to charge them. The 50% is what I charged them, 50% of the overall total, and their card had insufficient funds. This is one day after that. So my first client who couldn't come, after she didn't answer the phone call, I emailed her just saying like, hey, I'm at a new salon, which that's an update that I'll give later, but I'm at a new salon. Are you having trouble finding the space? And she immediately emailed me back like, hey, I was just messaging you on Instagram. I actually got in a car accident on my way to the appointment. I'm still waiting on the cops to show up to write a report, so I won't be able to make it. If you have anything later today, like, I would love it, but I don't expect you to. So once she kind of let me know she had been in a car accident, I didn't have anywhere else to put her, I was like, you know what, girl, that's totally okay. And I truly think that most hairstylists would have done the same thing, which is just kind of be like, okay, yeah, no, you're totally good. No worries. I will see you next time. Let me try to reschedule in as soon as possible. And that is what I did. Now, if somebody did want to go ahead and charge that client full price, I totally understand that. It's just that that is not me as a person. For me personally, as a client, especially a client who had seen a hairstylist 1 or 2 times, I would want that grace. Honestly, I would want it. I would understand if they didn't, But it would mean a lot to me if they would have grace with me. And I know that I have asked clients for grace recently. With how booked up my schedule has been, there have been times for like a weekend spot, or if I want to take a trip back home to visit my family, that I've had to move a couple of clients. And I know that I'm not giving them discounts if I'm just moving them, ahead of schedule. So I'm really appreciative of my clients whenever I do that. And I just want to be able to give that back to them as well. So I didn't charge her. And then I had a client 2 appointment slots later that had emailed me and said that she had been throwing up all night. She hoped that she would feel better, and she didn't feel better. Like she couldn't see herself not feeling sick by the time of her appointment. And I was like, please, thank you so much for letting me know. Don't come in today. Even if you feel better, don't come in today because I cannot afford to be sick. And she even said in her email, please charge me, whatever your fee is. I'm really sorry. I wouldn't typically do this. I'm not charging. I was like, girl, please, I'm not charging you. No worries. Feel better. And that is just the vibe that I have with all of my clients, because that is the vibe that I want all of my clients to have with me as well. And also, it's just what feels normal and natural to me. If it feels normal and natural to you to abide by policies to 100% strictness, then I think that you should do that. I think that you will attract clients that like that. And if you feel it's normal and natural for you to be a little bit more lenient with clients, I think that you should honor that as well. We all have to sleep at night, and the way that we're going to do that is by honoring what feels best and most natural to us as people. At the end of the day, the legacy that I want to leave is that I was a caring person, and that I was a fair person also. Because just like I said, the day before I did attempt to charge the person and it was insufficient funds. And hey, that's no worries. I have tried it about 10 times since and it's still insufficient funds, or the card is turned off. So that is a bummer. But what you can go ahead and do, and what I did also, is I just blocked her from booking online. So that being said, there was also something kind of funny that came up this week. One of my clients made a video she posted on TikTok and Instagram. I've done her hair twice over the course of the last 2 years, and we had a consultation about a year prior to that. So she's kind of been around on my books for a couple of years. She doesn't get a haircut with me. She only gets color. She had previously been doing black box dye for several years just to give her hair a little bit more shine. And the first time that she came in, she wanted to go blonde. I told her I didn't think that would ever really be possible, especially since she wasn't interested in getting a haircut. She cuts her own hair at home, and most people who trim their own hair at home do not get all of their split ends off every time, so the split ends end up getting higher and higher. You guys are all hairstylists listening to this, but in case you're not, that's how it works. The split ends keep going up. They just keep trimming the bare minimum off the bottom, and so their split ends all up in and around all of the hair. And because she had split ends, because she wasn't willing to cut off very much length, and because she had been doing box dye for years, layers at a time, I was like, yeah, I don't think that's ever really going to happen until you grow all of this out. Her hair is naturally also very dark. I wouldn't say it's like the blackest black, but a very dark brown or light black. So she ends up coming in like a year later after that consultation, and she's open to and wants a copper balayage. So we do that, a copper balayage. And then maybe 8 months later, I really don't know, she comes in for blonding, because when we did the copper, her hair actually did lift, which, if you kind of don't know that, if you have like very weak and brittle split ends, they will lift a little bit better than like healthier hair, as in a little bit lighter. They'll lift a little bit lighter, but they will still be pretty damaged like in the end. So she came in and we did a blonding session, which was actually quite a bit easier because we had already put in the foundation of her balayage in our first session. So it was a nice, honey, warm blonde. The thing with this client is she does have a following on social media. I'm never really able to take like a lot of really great photos of her hair because since she cuts it herself, it's uneven, and so I would never really post something that was an uneven haircut, even if the color looked amazing. So I don't really post her, but she usually makes a vlog whenever she comes in. The first time that she came in, the comments under the vlog were pretty rough to see, like, as her hairstylist. It was just quite a bit of like, oh girl, this hairstylist played in your hair, or like whatever, or like you let this girl put bleach in your hair, that was not smart of you, or just different things like that. Or what they like, their opinions. This would have looked better as an all over color. This would have looked better, this shade or that shade. And I don't remember seeing her like comment back on those things. And also she's not a very like emotive person, if that's the right word. Like, she's not like super smiley by any means. And but she's fun and nice. Like, she's very, very nice. We do crack up together. There's no issue with doing her hair. Like, in person, our personalities are fine. She always says that she likes it whenever she leaves. But I will say, after our first appointment, or during the styling portion of her first appointment, she's very tender-headed. And so she felt like the brushes that I had weren't really working for her hair. Eventually, I did just give her the brush to detangle it with product in, and then I kind of went through and styled it. But I'm tender-headed, so it's hard for me when people are wincing and kind of like pulling away to just keep going. And when you have super long, super thick hair with quite a bit of split ends still on it, there's quite a bit of tangles. So she posts the vlog. There's quite a bit of negative comments about how her hair looks and how the hairstylist did her dirty. And I'm in it. Like, she didn't tag me, but my face is in it. The salon that I was in is in it. So it was very much me. And it was tough. Talia sent me the video and was like, these comments are crazy. And I was like, damn, I'm not looking. Like, I'm very emotional. And so I saw a few and I was like, whatever. Like, if she reaches back out and she hates it, I would prefer, honestly, to give her a partial refund than to just redo it. But she never did. She came back in for a blonding. She mentioned the video and she mentioned the comments and was like, wow, those were brutal. Like, I liked it. Like, they were all saying, like, oh, this would have looked better as an all-over color. But I didn't want an all-over color. I wanted a balayage. Like, you did what I asked. And I was like, yeah. I know. But I don't remember her commenting those things back. But like I said, I didn't really keep up with the post because I knew for my own mental health that would not be fun. I think maybe the same thing happens the next time, but I really don't pay attention to it this time because I'm like, she said she liked it. That is what I'm going with. I'm not stressing myself out. I was already a little bit stressed that the tenderheadedness and the brushing was going to be an issue, and the styling. But it wasn't. I brought a different brush with much firmer bristles, and it went a lot faster. I had an assistant with me that day. It was fine. It was a good day. She made a video this week that was like, I think the caption of it was like, cutting my own hair because for some reason hairstylists have decided if you have curly hair, the haircut's got to be $200+. And then that was like the text on the screen. And then the caption was like, if my hair was straight, it would barely cost $60 or something like that. And we could get into that entire topic. That's not really the topic I want to get into right now because I don't feel super passionate about pricing by any means. And again, just keeping in theme with being the hairstylist that I would want to have, I price according to what I would want to pay. My prices for a haircut are not $200. My curly cut's $150. And it just recently went up to $150. As well as my straight haircut is $125. So it's not $60. I didn't even really feel super personally attacked by this because I've never cut her hair straight or curly. And also because my haircut is not $200+ and my straight haircut is not $60. So for me, I knew, like, you could call it rage bait. I think it's more kind of like clickbaity as far as like, instead of, you could say that she was trying to piss off curly hairstylists. I could see that for sure because obviously this is something that she's passionate about. It's not something she's told me, but it's something that seemingly from her content. For me, I think that she posted it more so to get likes from other people with curly hair and to kind of like create that community in her comment section of people who are all like frustrated about the same thing. I'm kind of in a conundrum as far as like if I want to continue taking her as a client. I am in a group chat with some other curly hairstylists from all over the United States, and they sent it in and was like, you know, like, this is a bummer. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's my client. And they were like, no, you're kidding. I'm like, and they're just like, well, you should not see her. She obviously is like talking shit about your profession and stuff, which does suck. I am not negating that. For me, I feel like I'm in a tricky situation where if I don't continue doing her hair, it just feels kind of shady to me. Over this video that doesn't really feel like it's necessarily technically all about me, but it is offensive. And if people did know I was her hair, I mean, it's just not true if it is about me. But I think more so it's just like the general scope of hairstylists. But she is a client that, because of the first video and maybe even the second video, just with the comments not really being like a safe space for me and not really feeling like, and maybe she is going through and deleting like the really mean ones and just kind of keeping the barely mean ones on there. I'm not sure. But because of that, I do feel like it's a little bit of a liability. But I just also do feel like, in a sense, if I don't take her as a client anymore, there's a lot of opportunity for her to make an entire video about the experience, just being like, and now this curly hairstylist doesn't even want to take me as a client anymore for X, Y, and Z. So I'm kind of in an interesting predicament with that. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to let me know what you would do in this situation and scenario. Hopefully I explained it well enough for you. And I will say, in this scenario, I am trying to think, like, if I were her, what type of hairstylist would I want to have? And I think that I would understand that the repercussion of making the video is that maybe this person will not want to do my hair anymore. I will say she was on my books upcoming, but she had to cancel for a work thing, and she hasn't like rescheduled, and maybe just her work schedule won't work with my scheduling, so I may not even have to have like a full-on conversation with her, which is not something that I would want to do, but it is something that I'm open to doing as well. I think sometimes as a hairstylist that does give a lot of grace and is just a little bit more old school, I would say, in a sense of just kind of like, oh, if someone has to cancel last minute, like things happen or whatever, you also then get the reputation of being a pushover. And I personally am really not scared of getting that reputation, because I do know I'm very confident in my decisions at the same time. And I think someone that's unconfident can be a pushover. I think I'm confident that I'm happy giving grace to clients when I do. And this is just one of those that, also being a hairstylist that does curly hair, that doesn't necessarily have curly hair, I want to address situations like this with a lot of care and open-mindedness, and I want to hear clients out, and I want to make sure that I'm not just in an echo chamber of people who do what I do and feel a certain type of way. Like, obviously, there is a large discussion online about people feeling unable to get, necessary beauty treatments because it has become too expensive for them. And in a time like this right now, our economy, I want to be open-minded to those things. At the same time, there are other options for clients who feel like they don't want to pay $150 for a haircut, and that is to go pay less somewhere else. There are people who charge less. They're just maybe not as in demand. They're maybe not as visible. It might take a lot more work to find these people, and they might not be, and probably won't be, as talented or as good at what you want them to give you. And all of those things are three of the things that factor into why a hairstylist might charge what they charge, because of visibility, because of demand, and because of skill. And I am happy with that. Like I said, at this point, I'm over 8 years into the industry. I am the hairstylist that I would want to have, and I am very reasonably priced, especially for what I do and especially in the area that I'm in, and I'm happy with that. A couple of salon updates that I have that are actually pretty exciting is I just moved salons. So I made a YouTube video, like a vlog of me moving in, and I talk a little bit about my experience as a hairstylist in Dallas. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you've heard my experiences as a hairstylist in Dallas. I have really a gorgeous experience here. There's not a lot to complain about. Finding your salon home is something that's really, really special. And I, have had a little bit of journey of doing that. So whenever I first moved to Dallas, I was at a salon called Revive in Bishop Arts, and I was there for about a year. I built up my clientele, and then I kind of thought to myself, okay, now that I have a clientele, let me look around and see if there's other salons that I would want to potentially move to just for some extra amenities, as far as like parking, as far as laundry services, just different things like that. And I found a space. I moved there for a year and a half. I think actually over a year and a half. And I don't want to say anything negative, but obviously my time there has just come to a close, and I'm actually back at my original salon, Revive, which I'm so happy and excited about. Truly, the support system at Revive is incredible. I love my coworkers. I connect with them so deeply there. This week was my first week back, and just being able to see everyone was incredible. Like, everyone hugged me, like excited, kind of like screaming, "How are you?" And just it felt like home away from home. So it was incredible. And I just wanted to update you girls that I'm at a different Booth Rent salon. I personally was looking also at some suites, salon suites. Me personally, I just don't see myself being happy in a salon suite because of kind of over 5 years in a large scale commission salon with like 30 hairstylists. I think that that's just what I'm used to and what I'm happy with. And I like a salon that has quite a few people. And I will say that too, going back to Revive has been so nice this past week, just that I'm not always the first person there. And there's like 2 or 3 people there already working. I'm not the last person there. And there's still 2 to 3 people still working. And they're hairstylists, and they're talking with their clients, and they're talking with other stylists and with other stylist clients. And that is the vibe that I like. And I never really, that wasn't happening at my old space. Like, there might be people there longer than you, but I was never talking with their clients. It was rare that we would even be talking to each other while we were doing hair. And that's what I'm used to. I like that like big hangout vibe. And I'm really, really excited for that at Revive. My clients this week were so excited, like just seeing the new space, and thought it was so beautiful. And a couple people mentioned loving the area. And that was just really exciting to me. I love the concept of salon suites. If they were larger, I think I would be open to it. But truly, my long-term goal is to open a salon myself. So that's something right now I'm working towards, as far as like saving, making sure that my business is collecting credit. And then, yeah, hopefully in the next year or so, just be able to start looking at some commercial rental spaces and looking into that. I think if I don't start a salon, then I would definitely want to purchase a house or something. I need like a big thing, a big goal to work towards in the next year or so. So one of the two of those, I think. I think what's hard for me sometimes about choosing if I want to open a salon is having a bit of, I don't want to sound like Alex from Love is Blind, but like a bit of a nomadic lifestyle. I wish I was nomadic. I wish that I lived at the beach. Like sometimes I wish like, I do love Dallas, and obviously it's March and I'm sitting outside and it's sunny and 75 and like it's very much spring. But it's just like some of my friends live in Florida, and like after work they're just like at the beach. Like I want that. I just don't know. I just don't know if Florida is like a good compatible state for me. And then obviously California, it's just like it's so far, it's so expensive, and the taxes are so high for small businesses. And although I appreciate them doing all of that, I just don't know that I want to be involved with that. So I don't know. I'm a little bit of an indecisive person. So those are like my 3 things. Like I need to kind of figure out in the next year, like, do I want to continue living in Dallas long term? If so, I want to put down roots. That's either a business, like a storefront business, or a house. And if I don't, then I need to go where I want to go. So that way I can start building and growing there also. Ooh, another update is that I'm getting my hair done next week. Next Monday, I think. I'm getting a balayage. It's been about 2 years since I have had highlights or anything in my hair. And yeah, I'm just ready for something fresh and something fun. I do this every couple of years. Like I'll be brunette for like a year and a half, 2 years. and then I'll get a balayage, and then I'll let the balayage grow out for 2 years. And when it's almost completely out, I'm like, you know what? I want a balayage again. So yeah, that's happening next week. I have 2 vacations in the works and plans. So 4th of July, I'm going to Florida, which I'm so excited for. And maybe then I'll kind of get a better perspective of like, do I want to live by the beach, or is it just like really fun to vacation to? And then also in a couple of months, I believe I'm going to Cancun with one of my good girlfriends, maybe another friend, but we'll see. We're finalizing plans for that soon. I think I'll be gone around the same time that Talia is gone for her honeymoon, which I'll let her tell you about. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead, drop a comment on what you think I should do with that one client experience that I'm having right now. And or drop a comment about your favorite thing about Curl Talk Unfiltered. I do want to apologize that we haven't been as consistent on here, but know that it's not because we don't love you guys. It's just because life is lifing in good and bad and neutral ways, and we will be back, more consistent as much as we can be, and we really appreciate your guys' support in the in-between moments. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.